I liked the aspect of looking at 4 different people's points of view.
It had a really creepy atmosphere, which is obviously what you were going for. It had real pace all the way through. I thought there was some really cool stuff that was done in post-production in terms of visual effects, which were excellent. A kind of grainy effect that you managed to achieve was great.
I really liked the quick effects because I thought it created a really good tension for the film, and I also liked the titles because they really reminded me of Paranormal Activity.
The scoring was good. It kind of helped emphasise the pace. You had this kind of bass playing all the way through, well, halfway through the trailer, which really helped build up tension. And so I thought the use of sound, diegetic and non-diegetic, was really effective.
And my favourite bit was the bit at the end where the light flickered on or off, because it's quite teasing. You know that there's going to be more of that in the film, but it just gives like a sneak preview and it builds tension.
From our audience feedback, we learnt that we produced a good teaser trailer, which we're happy about because that was our main aim from the outset.
Yeah, we found that our fast cuts were probably praised the most because they were seen as quite effective, which is what we really wanted to achieve at the start of planning what we were going to do with our trailer. Yeah. And post-production as well, the use of the titles.
Yeah, and the fuzzy effect, and they said that they liked it because it looked like Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, which is our main influence really. So we're really pleased with the positive feedback we got.
I'm not too sure about how at the beginning it looks kind of like a home movie, because I'm not sure about the professionalness of it, but I know that that's what they did for Paranormal Activity and films like that, and that was quite effective. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that would be used.
Well, I thought the soundtrack wasn't very fluid. You could kind of tell the difference between each tracks.
One thing I did think was your production company logo. I really like the idea, but I'm just not sure. It's kind of, it was slightly, in some ways perhaps it was slightly cliche. You had this idea of an eye and a kind of camera, and it could have, I don't know if it was a Photoshop issue or issue with some of the software, but it didn't come up, it wasn't really presented as clearly as it maybe could have been, and it maybe perhaps lost some of its impact. So that's just one thing that I noticed at the start.
From our negative feedback, we learnt that our production logo was a bit weak.
Yeah.
We did have numerous problems with this though, because we created it in Photoshop, and at the start we had a really good idea.
Yeah.
And we thought it would look really effective, but in the editing stages, using iMovie, we got quite frustrated with it because it wouldn't allow us to achieve what we wanted to achieve from the start, which was the blinking effect. We couldn't, it was hard to master it in iMovie, and in the end we had to settle for a transition effect acting as a blink, and this really didn't give the impact that we wanted to. And then as ourselves we were quite disappointed with that.
From our feedback, we also learnt that the sound could have been better because people said that it didn't flow that well.
Yeah.
And you could hear between each track. Yeah,
and you can tell that it wasn't a solid track. It was different soundtracks from different songs, and I think if we could, we would have gone back and maybe tried to, I don't know, dim it down and flow it into a little bit more.
And we would have definitely used the sound,
the Metamorphosis by Trent Roller's sound, because that at the ending that would have just made the impact of the last scene a bit bigger than that it is.
Yeah.
Maybe, because I like horror stories and things that give you goosebumps, so I might.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think I'd probably consider going to see it as well.
Overall, it was a trailer I thought that was did everything that you would expect for a teaser trailer for that kind of genre. So excellent.
I thought it was a really good trailer. I really enjoyed watching it, and I thought it gave you a good insight to what the film would be like. I thought it was really cool. I really liked the mask and the camera lens.
I liked the lens with the mask in the middle because it showed how the film is self-filmed through a camera, through handheld camera, and the mask, how it appears in mirrors and in windows. So that kind of showed what the film was about.
From the positive feedback on our poster, many people said that our mask was was the most effective.
Yeah, within the camera lens as well,
Yeah.
because it added an eerie feel to it.
Yeah, and one of them said that it kind of showed what the film was about. So, which is good because we wanted to really link it to our trailer, and for them to say that it linked quite well was very good because that's what we wanted to do.
I thought that the text at the bottom of the poster was a bit cluttered and it could have been spaced out more.
There's quite a lot going on, so if it was a normal and I just walked past it and glanced at it, I wouldn't be able to take all of that in about what the film was about.
And we also learnt from our feedback that people felt the poster was a bit slightly cluttered at the bottom because like we had the credits on the poster quite close to the title.
Yeah, where it says like always read the small print and the blood splatter. I suppose the blood splatter in a way did highlight that, but maybe it didn't highlight it enough. Maybe we should have spaced it out a little bit more so people would be able to see it. And the fact that it's cluttered, they also said that it wouldn't have drawn, like when walking past it, you might not take in all that's on the post.
I really liked the effect of the mask because it made it seem quite scary.
I liked the mask in the middle because that's the main point of the trailer film, and so that it represented what the film was about.
My feedback on a magazine, they said that we've learnt that the use of the mask and the effect on the mask was quite good, giving like a scary effect, which is kind of what we wanted to achieve. And they also showed relevance to our actual trailer as well, which is another thing that we wanted to do as well.
If I'd seen it without seeing the trailer, I wouldn't have really known what the movie was about.
It didn't really tell you what the film was about, it didn't show much about the film apart from the masked figure.
From our feedback that our magazine didn't have enough detail, so we feel that we should have done a different design such as Empire, because that way we would have been able to include more detail on the magazine cover, whereas the Little White Lies we couldn't include that much detail.
Yeah, because Little White Lies, their magazine covers don't really have much other than the Little White Lies badge at the top, and the title of the film as well. And I suppose if we're trying to advertise this as like a form of distribution for our film, like advertising or synergy, it's not really kind of promoting our film as much as Empire probably would, and Empire's more of a well-known magazine as well, and Little White.